The air was electric with anticipation as Jason Momoa, the charismatic star known for his larger-than-life roles in Aquaman and Game of Thrones, stepped onto the vibrant set of The Kelly Clarkson Show. Fans tuned in expecting a jovial chat filled with Momoa's signature charm and Kelly Clarkson's warm, down-to-earth humor. The episode was meant to spotlight Momoa's latest project, a deeply personal documentary series exploring his Hawaiian heritage and its influence on his life and career. As the cameras rolled, Kelly welcomed him with her trademark enthusiasm, setting the stage for what seemed like a delightful conversation. However, the mood shifted unexpectedly when Kelly, known for her candid and curious interviewing style, ventured into a sensitive topic of Jason's cultural identity and his involvement in traditional Hawaiian ceremonies. Her question, intended as an innocent inquiry into representation in Hollywood, struck a nerve with Momoa, whose connection to his roots runs deep. "Kelly, I'm going to stop you right there," he said, his voice steady but laced with tension, signaling the start of an unforgettable clash. The audience, initially buzzing with excitement, fell into a stunned silence as the atmosphere grew heavy. Momoa's response was not just a reaction but a defense of something sacred to him, his heritage. He elaborated, explaining how his grandmother's teachings shaped his identity, not as a performance for public consumption but as a lived experience. Kelly, caught off guard, attempted to steer the conversation back to lighter territory, suggesting they start over, but Momoa's frustration was palpable. He leaned forward, his eyes intense, and said, "My connection to my culture isn't a debate for daytime TV." The exchange escalated as Kelly, perhaps misjudging the moment, pressed it further, asking about the authenticity of his portrayal of Hawaiian traditions in his work. Momoa's face hardened. He wasn't here to justify who he was. "When you question my identity on national television, you're questioning everyone who's ever been told they're not enough," he stated, his words cutting through the studio's artificial cheer. The confrontation was raw, unscripted, and unlike anything the show had seen before. Social media began to buzz almost instantly, with clips of the heated moment spreading like wildfire across platforms. Fans and commentators debated whether Kelly's questions were insensitive or if Momoa's reaction was an overreach, but one thing was clear. This was no ordinary talk show segment. The exchange wasn't just about a single question, it was about the broader issue of how public figures navigate the complex terrain of cultural identity under the spotlight. Momoa, visibly shaken but resolute, made it clear he wasn't there to entertain doubts about his authenticity. "I came here to talk about my work, not to prove who I am," he said, his voice steady but firm. The audience, still reeling, watched as the tension built toward a breaking point, setting the stage for what would become one of the most talked-about moments in daytime television history. As the conversation spiraled, Jason Momoa's frustration became the focal point of the room. Kelly Clarkson, known for her ability to connect with guests, seemed to struggle with the unexpected intensity. Her attempt to clarify her question about cultural representation only deepened the rift. "I'm just asking about the stories you're telling," she said, her tone conciliatory but tinged with defensiveness. Momoa, however, wasn't buying it. "You don't get to ask someone to defend who they are and then act like it didn't happen," he shot back, removing his microphone in a gesture that stunned the crew and audience alike. The act of removing the mic wasn't just theatrical, it was a declaration of boundaries, a refusal to let his personal identity be dissected for entertainment. The studio, usually filled with applause and laughter, was now a vacuum of shock and discomfort. Momoa's words carried weight, resonating with anyone who has ever felt their identity questioned in a public or personal setting. He spoke of his grandmother's sacred teachings, emphasizing that they were not fodder for casual debate or TV ratings. "My culture isn't a prop," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "and it's not here for your audience to pick apart." Kelly, visibly flustered, tried to pivot to a discussion about his documentary, but the damage was done. Momoa's stand was not just about him, it was a broader commentary on the casual way media sometimes probes deeply personal aspects of a celebrity's life without considering the consequences. The internet erupted, with hashtags like #MomoaWalksOff trending within minutes. Supporters praised his courage for standing up for his heritage, while others questioned whether he overreacted to an innocent line of questioning. The debate raged online, with some calling Kelly's approach tone-deaf and others defending her curiosity as part of her job. Behind the scenes, producers scrambled to manage the fallout, unsure whether to cut to a commercial or let the moment play out. Momoa, however, had already made his decision. "I'm done here," he said, standing up and walking off the set, leaving Kelly to address the audience alone. Her attempt to smooth things over a "we're all about understanding each other here" felt hollow to many viewers, who were still processing the intensity of the exchange. The moment was a stark reminder of the power dynamics at play in talk shows, where personal stories are often mined for entertainment without regard for their deeper significance. Momoa's exit wasn't just a walk-off, it was a statement about respect, identity, and the limits of public scrutiny. The aftermath of Jason Momoa's dramatic exit from the Kelly Clarkson Show was as explosive as the confrontation itself. Social media platforms, particularly X, became a battleground for opinions. Fans of Momoa lauded his unwavering defense of his Hawaiian heritage, with many sharing personal stories of their own struggles with cultural identity. "He said what needed to be said," one user posted, garnering thousands of likes. Others, however, felt Kelly was unfairly targeted, arguing that her questions were meant to spark meaningful dialogue, not to offend. "She's just doing her job as a host," one commenter wrote, highlighting the divide in public perception. Clips of the exchange, some edited to amplify the drama, went viral, racking up millions of views on YouTube and TikTok. Media outlets quickly picked up the story, with headlines ranging from "sensational Jason Momoa kicked OFF Kelly Clarkson's show" to more nuanced analyses of cultural sensitivity in entertainment. The incident sparked a broader conversation about how talk shows navigate sensitive topics like race and identity, especially when guests come from marginalized or underrepresented communities. Momoa's walk-off was seen by many as a powerful stand against the commodification of personal heritage, but it also raised questions about the expectations placed on celebrities to remain composed under scrutiny. Kelly, for her part, addressed the incident in a brief statement on the show's social media, expressing regret if her questions caused offense and emphasizing her intent to foster understanding. However, the apology did little to quell the storm, as critics argued it sidestepped accountability. Behind the scenes, sources close to the show revealed that the production team was blindsided by the intensity of the exchange, having expected a routine promotional segment. Momoa's team, meanwhile, remained silent, letting his actions speak for themselves. The controversy also brought renewed attention to Momoa's documentary, which explores the complexities of his Hawaiian and Native American roots. Viewers who might not have tuned in otherwise were now curious about the project that sparked such a passionate defense. The incident, while uncomfortable, underscored the importance of respecting cultural boundaries, particularly when they are tied to deeply personal experiences. As the dust settled, the question remained, could Kelly and Momoa find a way to reconcile, or would this moment define their public personas moving forward? The answer was unclear, but the impact of the clash was undeniable, reshaping how audiences viewed both the star and the host. The cultural implications of the Momoa-Clarkson clash extended far beyond the studio walls. For many, the incident was a microcosm of larger societal debates about who gets to define authenticity and how cultural identity is portrayed in media. Momoa's defense of his Hawaiian heritage resonated with communities who have long fought against misrepresentation or erasure in mainstream entertainment. His words, "You're questioning everyone like me," struck a chord with viewers who have felt their identities scrutinized or invalidated. Scholars and commentators weighed in, noting that the exchange highlighted the challenges of discussing cultural identity in a format as lighthearted as a daytime talk show. Talk shows thrive on accessibility, but that can sometimes lead to oversimplification of complex issues, one cultural critic wrote in an op-ed. The incident also prompted discussions about the role of hosts in navigating sensitive topics. Kelly Clarkson, known for her empathy and authenticity, faced criticism for what some saw as a lack of cultural awareness. Others defended her, arguing that the pressure to fill airtime with engaging content can lead to missteps, especially when delving into uncharted territory. Momoa's walk-off, while dramatic, was seen by supporters as a necessary act of self-preservation, a refusal to let his identity be reduced to a soundbite. The incident also shed light on the unique challenges faced by celebrities of mixed heritage, who often navigate expectations from multiple communities. Momoa, whose background includes Hawaiian, Native American, and European ancestry, has spoken openly about the complexities of his identity in the past, making Kelly's line of questioning particularly raw. Social media continued to dissect every moment of the exchange, with body language experts analyzing Momoa's tense posture and Kelly's flustered expressions. The fallout even reached academic circles, where professors used the incident as a case study in courses on media studies and cultural representation. Meanwhile, fans of both Momoa and Clarkson grappled with their loyalties, some feeling torn between admiration for Kelly's usual warmth and respect for Momoa's stand. The controversy also sparked a wave of memes, with humorous takes on the walk-off juxtaposed against more serious discussions about respect and accountability. As the story dominated headlines, it became clear that this was more than a celebrity spat. It was a cultural flashpoint, forcing audiences to confront uncomfortable truths about how we engage with identity in the public sphere. In the days following the incident, both Jason Momoa and Kelly Clarkson faced intense public scrutiny. Momoa, who had always been seen as a laid-back, approachable star, was now viewed by some as a fierce advocate for cultural respect, while others questioned whether his reaction was proportionate to the offense. Supporters argued that his walk-off was a powerful statement against the casual probing of personal identity, particularly for someone whose heritage is so integral to their public persona. Critics, however, felt he could have handled the situation with more grace, perhaps using the platform to educate rather than exit. Kelly, meanwhile, faced a tougher road. Her reputation as a relatable, empathetic host took a hit, with some accusing her of insensitivity. Her attempt to address the controversy on the next episode of her show was met with mixed reactions. "I never meant to make anyone feel unheard," she said, her voice breaking slightly, but for many, the apology felt too vague. Social media posts from viewers ranged from supportive messages praising her sincerity to sharp critiques demanding more accountability. The incident also brought attention to the broader dynamics of talk shows, where hosts are expected to balance entertainment with meaningful dialogue, often under tight time constraints. Behind the scenes, reports suggested that Kelly was deeply shaken by the incident, having admired Momoa and hoped for a positive interview. Momoa, for his part, remained largely silent, letting the viral clips and public discourse speak for him. His documentary, which had been overshadowed by the controversy, began to gain traction as viewers sought to understand the context of his passion. The project, titled On the Roam, explored Momoa's journey to reconnect with his Hawaiian roots, featuring interviews with elders and community leaders. The clash with Kelly inadvertently amplified the documentary's message, drawing in viewers who might not have otherwise engaged with it. Meanwhile, the media frenzy showed no signs of slowing down, with tabloids and online outlets publishing conflicting accounts of the incident. Some claimed Momoa was kicked off the set, while others clarified that he left voluntarily. The truth, as always, lay somewhere in the gray, but the sensational headlines kept the story alive. For many, the incident was a reminder of the power of live television, where unscripted moments can spark global conversations. As the debate continued, it became clear that the Momoa-Clarkson clash would be remembered not just for its drama but for its deeper implications about respect, identity, and the limits of public discourse. The ripple effects of the confrontation reached far beyond the initial broadcast, influencing how talk shows approach sensitive topics. Producers across the industry took note, with some reevaluating how they brief hosts and guests on potentially charged subjects. The incident also prompted a wave of think pieces exploring the intersection of celebrity, culture, and media responsibility. For Jason Momoa, the walk-off became a defining moment, cementing his image as a protector of his heritage. Fans rallied around him, organizing online campaigns to support his documentary and other projects that highlight underrepresented voices. "This is why we love Jason. He doesn't back down," one fan tweeted, echoing a sentiment shared by many. Kelly Clarkson, meanwhile, faced the challenge of rebuilding trust with her audience. Her show, which had thrived on its feel-good vibe, now had to navigate the fallout of a rare misstep. Some viewers called for a public reconciliation, hoping Momoa would return to the show to clear the air. Others felt the incident was best left alone, a lesson learned for both parties. The controversy also sparked discussions about the role of daytime television in addressing complex issues like cultural identity. Critics argued that such topics require more nuance than a typical talk show segment allows, while supporters of the format insisted it could be a platform for meaningful dialogue if handled with care. Momoa's stand resonated with other celebrities who have faced similar scrutiny, prompting some to share their own stories of navigating identity in the public eye. The incident also highlighted the power of social media and shaping narratives, as fans and detractors alike use Director 1.0 greater than use the platform to amplify their voices. For both Momoa and Clarkson, the clash was a professional challenge, forcing them to confront their public images in new ways. Momoa's silence in the aftermath allowed a focus to remain on his actions rather than his words, while Kelly's attempts to address the situation were met with mixed success. The incident also raised questions about the expectations placed on guests to share personal stories on demand, often without control over how those stories are framed. As the story continued to unfold, it became a case study in the complexities of public discourse, cultural sensitivity, and the pressures of live television. Months after the incident, the Momoa-Clarkson clash remained a topic of discussion, its impact lingering in the cultural zeitgeist. Jason Momoa's documentary, On the Roam, saw a surge in viewership, with many citing the controversy as their introduction to the project. The series, which delved into Momoa's personal journey and the importance of cultural heritage, was praised for its authenticity and depth, proving that Momoa's passion was more than just talk. Kelly Clarkson, meanwhile, worked to regain her footing, incorporating more cultural sensitivity training into her show's production process. In interviews, she spoke candidly about the experience, admitting she misjudged the moment and vowing to approach such topics with greater care. "I'm still learning," she told a reporter, a statement that earned her some goodwill from fans. The incident also prompted broader industry reflection, with talk show hosts and producers discussing how to balance entertainment with respect for guests' personal boundaries. Some argued that the format itself was inherently flawed, designed to elicit emotional moments for ratings rather than foster genuine understanding. Others saw it as an opportunity for growth, a chance to make daytime television a platform for more thoughtful dialogue. Social media continued to keep the story alive, with periodic resurgences of the viral clips sparking new debates. For Momoa, the incident became a badge of honor, a testament to his commitment to his roots. He made few public comments but did share a cryptic post on X, "Family is everything, protect it." The message resonated with his fans, who saw him as a champion for cultural pride. For Clarkson, the road to redemption was longer, but her efforts to address the issue head-on were seen as a step in the right direction. The clash also inspired academic discussions, with universities hosting panels on media representation and the ethics of interviewing. Ultimately, the incident served as a reminder of the power of words and the importance of context in public conversations. It challenged viewers to think critically about how they engage with stories of identity and culture, and it pushed the entertainment industry to reconsider its approach to sensitive topics. While the moment was painful for both Momoa and Clarkson, it also sparked a global conversation about respect, authenticity, and the complexities of navigating identity in the public eye, a conversation that continues to shape how we talk about culture today.